Kykar wins Fury in Brawl. What a fantastic Brawl commander. Play non-creatures, get 1/1 flyers that you can then turn around and sack to add mana to your mana pool. Let's talk about my new favorite Brawl deck, Kykar, starting right now. Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. We're going to talk about Kykar wins Fury in Brawl. Just wanted to say real fast, if it's your first time at the channel and you want to stay up to date with the latest deck strategy news for Brawl, Commander, Standard, or Historic, or Pioneer, or you just want to see us open some booster packs, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave. Let's talk about Kykar. We'll jump over to the deck right here. This is Kykar. Kykar wins Fury. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 spirit creature with flying, add a mana by sacrificing a spirit. So what that means is we're going to build a deck with not many creatures and hopefully only creatures that have solid synergy, but we'll need some way to finish the game out. Let's see what we got. First row here, card draw and mana ramp. Witching Well, scry 2, pay 4 later, draw 2 cards. Anticipate, look at top 3, put 1 in, Arcane Signet, mana ramp, eyes everywhere, scry, and then eventually we can maybe steal a really challenging permanent for us to deal with. Winged Words, Kykar is a flyer, creates flyers. Normally we're going to get to draw 2 cards for 2 mana, which is just so awesome. Smothering Tithe, we're going to get to create treasures, hopefully have more mana later down the road, and Chemist's Insight to draw 2. Next row, Protection and Targeted Removal. God's willing. This card has won me games. This card protects Kykar. Glass Caskets, removing CMC 3 or less. Trapped in the Tower is removing non-flyers. Disdainful Stroke is countering 4 or greater. Negate is countering any non-creature. We're exiling creatures with 3 butts or less. We're countering non-creature spells and it can't be countered. We're removing pesky permanents. We're keeping attackers and blockers from doing that, and also their activated abilities are shut down. We're countering and shocking our opponent. We're removing a targeted really pesky permanent, or we're killing a 3-butt, and we're getting to look at the top 2 and put them into the hand. Now, as you'll notice, so far, not a single creature. All of these with Kykar on the battlefield are triggering a 1/1 white spirit creature coming onto the battlefield. Next up, board wipe, Flame Sweep, Time Wipe, and Realm Cloak Giant. Realm Cloak Giant will pull double duty as a 7/7 Vigi if we happen to need a finisher later in the game. We'll get there. Spectral Sailor. It's a spirit that also lets us draw cards. Now notice, sack a spirit, add a mana. So those are really the only creatures we're going to want to play are spirits. Spectral Sailor, like I said, it's a repeatable card draw outlet. Hanged Executioner lets us exile creatures if we exile Hanged Executioner. Also, it is a spirit that creates a spirit. Bird Spirit, that's giving all of our flying spirits that Kykar is creating, +1/+1, little anthem effect, we like that. And a spirit that acts as a semi-removal. Taps a creature down and it doesn't untap for the rest of the game. Let's go into planeswalkers because planeswalkers are non-creature spells. Mu Yanling is going to create flyers and keep one of their attackers pinned down. Narset is going to go hit our non-creature spells from the deck into our hand. So good in this deck because we only really have 4 creatures that it can hit. Teferi, come on, so good. Saheeli. Now, Saheeli's fantastic because Saheeli doubles our effect. Whenever a non-creature spell is cast, it creates a 1/1. Now, that 1/1's on the ground, but if we've got both of these on the battlefield, we're getting 2 1/1s every single time we cast a non-creature spell. So good. Royal Scions, fixing our hand a little bit, maybe giving one of our flyers a little bit of a buff so that we can attack through. And Rao acts as a removal late, equal to the number of instants and sorceries, so we got a lot of those. And we're getting to put cards into our hand early on once we cast it. Now, finishers. Angelic Exaltation. We're creating a ton of 1/1s. How about one of those 1/1 flyers all of a sudden becomes like a 9/9 or a 10/10 based on how many tokens we got on the battlefield? Hell yeah. Sarkhan the Masterless. We're running 6 planeswalkers that aren't Sarkhan, so he acts as a finisher in and of himself a lot of times. Realm Cloak Giant, you already saw, it's a board wipe that becomes a 7/7 Vigi that can close out a game. And Expansion Explosion. So Explosion is huge here because we've got, hopefully, a ton of spirits on the battlefield, We pay all the mana we've already got. We sacrifice any treasure tokens we got from Smothering Tithe, and we sacrifice any spirits we got. We hit them for a ton, and they explode. As far as lands go, over here you can see Arden Vale. We've got Vantress for scrying. We've got Hallowed Fountain, Temple of Epiphany, Sacred Foundy, Duh on the command tower, and Fabled Passage. Let's jump into some gameplay so that you can see exactly how this deck works. Kykar gameplay. We see our opening hand. We've got a Saheeli in hand. Now, Saheeli's great because it lets us double up our effect of making 1/1s whenever we cast things. And so this is always a hand that we like to see. It's going to be a little bit slower of a start, but we saw at the beginning, if you look up there in the top left, that we are playing against Dovin, Hand of Control. So we assume that it's a little more control-y of a deck, so a slow start is going to work for us anyway. So by the time we get to turn 3, we've got our natural mountain, island, plains. We're able to drop Saheeli. We see maybe if it was going to get countered, but obviously it didn't. Maybe they're holding back the counter for Kykar. We're going to try and go ahead and go on Kykar here, but it gets Disdainful Stroked, and that's fine. So what we're going to do now is establish a base against the control deck. We'll go ahead and get another land out. We'll play our Planeswalker. They were tapped, so we're not going to see it. We're going to let them draw off Smothering Tithe because we can remove that later if we need to. Raoul's going to let us draw a card. Saheeli's going to make a 1/1, and we're going to pass. We're not seeing anything yet that is hugely problematic. Raoul goes up, which is really the only ability we want to use, so the Spectral Sailor swinging in doesn't really bother us a ton. We could play Kykar here, but we're just going to continue to build up a base. We want mana to be able to counter. We can play a threat here that's not huge. That little flash, we had a bit of a lag issue with Arena, so I skipped past that. We can lock down the little control 0/3. We can remove the Smothering Tithe all in one turn, and we pass it off. We're tapped out here, but again, the 1/1 doesn't bother us too much. We're seeing that they're drawing cards off of it, so that might get problematic. We might want to remove that pretty soon. We didn't want to tap it down because we do want to give them the option to at least swing in. We can rouse Outburst here. We might as well go ahead and draw and see if we can get a better option. We get Winged Words. Now, Winged Words works great in this deck because Kykar flies and Kykar makes flyers. Rouse Outburst, go ahead and take their drawing offline and get some scrying online for us and attack in, why not? Let's put some pressure. Now, they time wipe, they get the 0/3 tap creature back, they play another tap creature, we see a Flame Sweep. It's not great because it doesn't hit both creatures, so we go ahead and bottom it. We can make threats now. They're tapped out. It was safe to play Kykar. We can, trapped in the tower, the one that could affect Kykar, go ahead and draw. We see draw a flying creature and a draw engine on one card, so we might as well. Now, we get Frogified on Kykar. That's not great. However, they do make a mistake here, or maybe it was an intentional move to kill one of our 1/1s. They swing in with their 1/2, we double block and kill one because our 1/1s, we're going to make 1/1s. That's what this deck does. We see a Prison Realm. We've already got their only permanent trapped in the tower. They've got 4 cards left in hand, and we've got a lot of card draw. We've got a lot of... See, we're going here at this point. We got a full hand. Go ahead and draw more. We want counter spells to either keep their threats off the board, or we want something so that we can get that Frogify off of our Kykar. The Smothering Tithe gets negated, it is what it is, but we're swinging in with our 1/1s and we're going to slowly try and chip them down. What we're looking for is some kind of finisher or some kind of way to free Kykar from the Frogify. Now, we got Ugin here. Unfortunately, we don't have the mana to counter it. We do have Dovin's Veto on top. It was a little late, but we have some ways of dealing with this. They go down instead of up with the Ugin. It's at 1 now. We can play another Planeswalker and go get another Planeswalker. All of this is triggering Saheeli. They don't have enough blockers. We're definitely getting the Ugin here. Play another land. We don't need any more lands. We're pretty good at this point. What we need are finishers. We need to go ahead and seal this game up. We've got them down to 2 cards. We've got them down to 1 permanent, essentially. We try and ionize the Jace. They go ahead and Thought Collapse the Ionize, so the Jace does resolve. However, with Eyes Everywhere, we can steal the Jace, and so that's what we're going to try and do here. It's not counterable, plus they're tapped out anyway, so that doesn't really matter. We've got Jace on our side of the board now, and we finally draw Angelic Exaltation. This is one of the finishers in the deck, and it's so good because we make so many 1/1s that having one flyer go through for, 5 to 10, so strong. Now we've got to see. We see a Dovin. They want to go ahead and shut the flyer down, which makes sense. We are going to have to get the Dovin at some point, but they steal our Moo, and we see a glass casket. Now we can Prison Realm here to go ahead and get rid of the Dovin so that is offline. We're basically seeing if we can set up for next turn, but we can Law Mage Binding. On the 4/4, we realize we can God's Willing. It gets through any blockers with the Angelic Exaltation and the protection. So as you can see, the deck is pretty sweet. The games with this deck can go pretty long because it's essentially just removal.deck, planeswalkers.deck. Go and get, your Kykar or your Saheeli, make some 1/1s. Really stall it out, keep them out of the game, and eventually swing through with one of your finishers or just death by 1,000 cuts with all your little flying creatures. Really appreciate you watching. Like I said, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, hitting subscribe, it really helps us out. If you want to support us further, we got a Patreon, link is down in the description below. And if you want to watch us play Magic over on Twitch, Tuesday and Thursday evenings, we're streaming if you want to come hang out with me and Jake. We appreciate it. The deck list for this deck is down in the description. We'll catch you later.